United States history. Around 2000 AD. Part 1. Florida. 2000. The Bush versus Gore recount highlights Florida's pivotal role in U.S. elections. South Carolina. 2000. The Confederate flag is removed from the State House dome after decades of controversy. Vermont. 2000. Vermont becomes the first state to legalize civil unions for same-sex couples. Alabama. Late 20th century. Immigration from Mexico, Central America, and Asia. Ohio. 2001. Cincinnati riots. New Jersey. 2001. USS New Jersey battleship becomes a museum. New York. 2001. 9/11 attacks. Twin Towers fall. 2,753 killed. Rebuilding includes the Freedom Tower. District of Columbia. 2001. 9/11 attacks. Pentagon hit. Increased security in D.C. Virginia. 2001. Pentagon attacked on September 11th. Wyoming. 2001. Dick Cheney, former Wyoming congressman, becomes U.S. Secretary of Defense and Vice President of the United States. Michigan. 2002. Jennifer Granholm becomes Michigan's first female governor. Utah. 2002. Salt Lake City hosted the Winter Olympics, showcasing Utah globally. New Hampshire. 2003. Collapse of the Old Man of the Mountain. Ohio. 2003. Ohio celebrates bicentennial. Power outage affects 50 million. Rhode Island. 2003. The Station nightclub fire in West Warwick killed 100 people, one of the deadliest nightclub fires in U.S. history. South Carolina. 2003. Strom Thurmond, longest-serving U.S. senator, passes away. Arkansas. 2004. The Clinton Presidential Center opened in Little Rock. Massachusetts. 2004. First legal same-sex marriage performed in Cambridge. Connecticut. 2005. Connecticut became the first state to pass a law permitting same-sex civil unions without court mandate. Kansas. 2005. Kansas Board of Education debated teaching evolution versus intelligent design. Louisiana. 2005. Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans, killing over 1,800. Mississippi. 2005. Hurricane Katrina devastates the Gulf Coast, causing widespread damage. Michigan. 2005. Rosa Parks, civil rights icon who lived in Detroit, passes away. Wisconsin. 2005. Gaylord Nelson, Earth Day founder, passes away. Alaska. 2006. Palin becomes Alaska's first female governor. Kentucky. 2006. Comair Flight 5191 crashes in Lexington, killing 49. New Jersey. 2006. New Jersey Supreme Court grants equal rights to gay couples. Idaho. 2007. Cecil Andrus, former governor, advocates for environmental conservation. Minnesota. 2007. I-35 West Bridge collapse in Minneapolis kills 13, leading to infrastructure reforms. Montana. 2007. Evel Knievel, Daredevil, passes away. Nebraska. 2007. Warren Buffett, Omaha-based billionaire, donated $30 billion to Gates Foundation. Alaska. 2008. Palin runs as Republican vice president nominee, McCain-Palin ticket. District of Columbia. 2008. Barack Obama inaugurated record-breaking crowds. Hawaii. 2008. Barack Obama elected president. First U.S. president born in Hawaii, Punahou School graduate. Illinois. 2008. Barack Obama elected as first black U.S. president. Rod Blagojevich impeached for corruption. Nevada. 2008. The financial crisis hit Nevada's housing and casino industries hard. North Dakota. 2008. Bakken oil boom begins, transforming western North Dakota. Tennessee. 2008. Kingston coal ash spill, largest in U.S. history. Iowa. 2009. Norman Borlaug, Cresco-born agronomist and Nobel laureate, passes away. District of Columbia. 2009. D.C. same-sex marriage legalized. Arizona. 2000s. Arizona emerged as a tech and tourism hub, e.g., Silicon Desert. Controversies like SB 1070, immigration law, sparked national debate. California. 2000s. California became the world's fifth largest economy, led by tech, Google, Facebook, and agriculture. Delaware. 2000s. Corporate incorporation, e.g., 60% of Fortune 500 companies, drove the economy. Georgia. 2000s. Atlanta becomes a tech and cultural hub, e.g., CNN, Coca-Cola. Iowa. 2000s. Iowa gained political prominence as the first state in the U.S. presidential caucuses. Montana. 2000s. Shift toward tourism, Glacier/Yellowstone, and tech, with population growth. Oklahoma. 2000s. Energy, oil/gas, and aerospace, Tulsa's American Airlines hub, drove the economy. Pennsylvania. 2000s. Shift to healthcare, education, and tech, e.g., Hershey's Chocolate, Comcast. Texas. 2000s. Economic diversification into tech, Austin, energy, Houston, and space, NASA. Louisiana. 2010. BP oil spill damaged Gulf Coast. Tennessee. 2010. Historic floods hit Middle and West Tennessee. California. 2011. Steve Jobs, Apple co-founder, passes away. South Carolina. 2011. Nikki Haley becomes the state's first female and minority governor. Vermont. 2011. Tropical storm Irene causes catastrophic flooding. Colorado. 2012. Colorado legalizes recreational marijuana, the first state to do so. Connecticut. 2012. Connecticut abolished the death penalty. Hawaii. 2012. Daniel Inouye, World War II hero, long-serving U.S. Senator, passes away. Kansas. 2012. Sam Brownback's tax cuts led to budget crises, later reversed. Maine. 2012. Maine legalized same-sex marriage. New Jersey. 2012. Superstorm Sandy devastates the Jersey Shore. New Mexico. 2012. New Mexico celebrated centennial of statehood. North Carolina. 2012. Andy Griffith, actor, passes away. New York. 2012. Hurricane Sandy floods lower Manhattan, prompting climate resilience projects. Washington. 2012. Washington legalizes same-sex marriage and recreational cannabis. Colorado. 2013. Same-sex civil unions legalized. Michigan. 2013. Detroit files for bankruptcy, the largest municipal bankruptcy in U.S. history. Rhode Island. 2013. Rhode Island legalized same-sex marriage. Hawaii. 2014. Mauna Kea protests against 30-meter telescope, TMT, begin. Iowa. 2014. Joni Ernst is first female U.S. Senator from Iowa. Oregon. 2014. Same-sex marriage is legalized. Michigan. 2014 to 2015. Flint water crisis exposes lead contamination in drinking water. Missouri. 2014. Ferguson unrest. Alaska. 2015. President Obama visits Alaska, highlights climate change impacts. Illinois. 2015. Bruce Rauner signs budget ending a 2-year stalemate. Kentucky. 2015. Jeanine Hampton becomes the first African American elected to statewide office. Maryland. 2015. Baltimore uprising. Mississippi. 2015. B.B. King, blues legend, passes away. Nebraska. 2015. Nebraska repealed death penalty, later reinstated by voter referendum. Alaska. 2015 to present. Climate change and political shifts. Indiana. 2016. Governor Mike Pence becomes U.S. Vice President under Donald Trump. North Dakota. 2016. Dakota Access Pipeline protests at Standing Rock. Ohio. 2016. Ohio's poultry banned from state fair due to avian flu. Tennessee. 2016. Great Smoky Mountains wildfires destroy parts of Gatlinburg. District of Columbia. 2016. D.C. voters approve statehood referendum, 86% support. California. 2017. Wildfires causes $11.8 billion devastation. Iowa. 2017. Kim Reynolds is first female governor. Alabama. 2019. Wreckage of last U.S. slave ship Clotilda found in Mobile River. Alaska. 2019. Governor Mike Dunleavy cuts state budget, sparking protests. Indiana. 2019. Pete Buttigieg, South Bend mayor, announces presidential run as first openly gay candidate. Oklahoma. 2019 to present. Kevin Stitt became the first Cherokee governor. Hawaii. 2010s. Climate change and over-tourism concerns. Iowa. 2010s. Women broke political barriers. New Hampshire. 2010s to present. Focus on tourism, tech industries, and environmental conservation. Washington. 2020. First U.S. COVID-19 case reported in Washington. Colorado. 2020. COVID-19 pandemic disrupts tourism and economy. Florida. 2020. Florida's population surpasses 21 million, driven by migration and economic growth. Hawaii. 2020. COVID-19 devastates tourism-dependent economy. Idaho. 2020. Population reaches 1.8 million. COVID-19 strains healthcare. Mississippi. 2020. Mississippi removes Confederate imagery from its state flag. New Mexico. 2020. Continued growth in population, 2.1 million in 2020. North Dakota. 2020. Oil production peaks at 1.4 million barrels per day. Ohio. 2020. COVID-19 cancels Ohio State Fair for the first time since World War II. Oklahoma. 2020. McGirt v. Oklahoma affirmed tribal sovereignty over eastern lands. Oregon. 2020. Wildfires and COVID-19 dominate the decade. Rhode Island. 2020. Voters approved removing and Providence plantations from the state's official name due to associations with slavery. South Dakota. 2020. COVID-19 ravaged Pine Ridge Reservation, high mortality rates. Tennessee. 2020. Deadly tornadoes strike Nashville and Putnam County. Tennessee. 2020. COVID-19 pandemic reaches Tennessee. Virginia. 2020. Population reaches 8.6 million. West Virginia. 2020. Chuck Yeager, first to break the sound barrier, passes away. Wyoming. 2020. Wyoming's population reaches 576,851, remaining the least populous state. District of Columbia. 2020. Black Lives Matter protests. Trump deploys federal troops. District of Columbia. January 6, 2021. January 6th Capitol riot. D.C. National Guard mobilized. Nebraska. 2021. Keystone XL pipeline canceled, sparking debates over energy jobs versus environment. Nevada. 2021. Harry Reid, long-serving U.S. Senator, passes away. New Mexico. 2021. Deb Haaland, Laguna Pueblo, became first Native American cabinet member as Interior Secretary. Wyoming. 2021. Liz Cheney, Wyoming's U.S. representative, is removed as House GOP chair after voting to impeach Trump. Delaware. 2021 to 2025, Joe Biden, U.S. President and longtime Delaware Senator. Arkansas. 2022, Sarah Huckabee Sanders became Arkansas's first female governor. Idaho. 2022, University of Idaho murders draw national attention. Vermont. 2022, Vermont amends its constitution to explicitly prohibit slavery. Hawaii. August 8, 2023. Deadliest U.S. wildfire in a century kills 100+ and destroys historic Lahaina. Alaska. 2023. Willow Project approved. Controversial oil drilling plan in NPRA, National Petroleum Reserve, Alaska. Colorado. 2023. Denver Nuggets win first National Basketball Association championship. Kentucky. 2023. Severe flooding and tornadoes strike eastern and western Kentucky. Maine. 2023. The Lewiston mass shooting, 18 killed, marked the deadliest event in modern Maine history. North Dakota. 2023. State celebrates 134th anniversary with record budget surplus. Tennessee. 2023. Nashville school shooting sparks gun control protests. Tennessee. 2023. Tennessee House expels 2 Democratic members. Arkansas. 2024. Johnny Cash, legendary musician immortalized in the U.S. Capitol's Statuary Hall. Nebraska. 2024. Nebraska leads U.S. in ethanol production and beef exports. South Dakota. 2024. Tourism booms. Mount Rushmore, Badlands, but native poverty persists. District of Columbia, 2024, D.C. statehood bill reintroduced in Congress. Louisiana, January 1, 2025, vehicle ramming attack in New Orleans killed 16 people. Louisiana, February 9, 2025, Super Bowl 59 held at Caesars Superdome. Missouri, March 7, 2025, National History Day competition, Springfield. Missouri, March 12 to 14, 2025, Missouri Conference on History, Blue Springs. Louisiana, March 18, 2025, Louisiana conducted first execution in 15 years using nitrogen gas. Louisiana, May 15, 2025, historic Nottoway plantation heavily damaged by fire. Louisiana, May 16, 2025, 10 inmates escaped from New Orleans jail through tunnel. Arkansas, 2025, Arkansas legalized nitrogen hypoxia as an execution method. Colorado, 2025, Mount Evans renamed Mount Blue Sky to honor indigenous history. Illinois, 2025, global COVID-19 monument planned for Chicago. Louisiana, 2025, economic development initiatives attracting major investments in energy and technology sectors. Mississippi, 2025, celebrations include B.B. King's 100th birthday and Vicksburg's bicentennial. Montana, 2025, David Lynch, filmmaker, passes away. Missouri, 2025, Kimberly Harper, historian and author, received the 2025 Missouri Conference on History Book Award for her book Men of No Reputation. Oklahoma, 2025, Oklahoma celebrates 30 years since the bombing, emphasizing resilience, Oklahoma Standard. South Carolina, 2025, South Carolina's economy thrives in tourism, manufacturing, and aerospace, with a population exceeding 5 million. Texas, 2025, second most populous U.S. state, political influence and cultural prominence. Wisconsin, 2025, UW-Madison graduates like Shruti Mangesh, microbiology, and Daniel Schuyler, Oneida Nation, highlight educational achievements. Alabama, 2020s, diverse economy including aerospace, automotive, and technology. Arizona, 2020s, population surpassed 7.5 million, with Phoenix as the fifth largest U.S. city. California, 2020s, challenges included wildfires and political clashes over immigration. Connecticut, 2020s, Connecticut faces housing shortages and high home prices post-pandemic. Delaware, 2020s, Delaware remains a leader in finance, biotechnology, and tax-free shopping. Georgia, 2020s, population exceeds 10 million, political shifts toward Republican dominance. Iowa, 2020s, ongoing debates over rural revitalization, renewable energy, and education funding shape Iowa's future. Kansas, 2020s, renewable energy, wind farms, now supplies 40% plus of Kansas electricity. Maryland, 2020s, Maryland ranks among the wealthiest and most diverse states, with a GDP driven by federal agencies, e.g., NIH, NSA, and tech sectors. Minnesota, 2020s, Minnesota becomes a hub for Somali immigrants, largest diaspora in the U.S., and continues leading in healthcare, Mayo Clinic, and tech. Mississippi, 2020s, Mississippi debates holiday reforms, e.g., replacing Robert E. Lee Day with Martin Luther King Day. Nevada. 2020s. Nevada's population surpassed 3.2 million, driven by tourism, tech, e.g., Tesla Gigafactory, and entertainment. New Mexico. 2020s. Continued growth in political influence, with all 3 U.S. House members being women of color. New York. 2020s. New York City remains a cultural and economic powerhouse, with 8.8 million residents, 2020 census. North Carolina. 2020s. North Carolina remains a political battleground, with debates over Confederate monuments and LGBTQ+ rights. New Jersey. 2020s. New Jersey prepares for the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Revolution, 2026, with initiatives like Revolution NJ. Utah. 2020s. Utah's population surpassed 3.5 million, driven by tech growth, Silicon Slopes, and outdoor recreation. Wisconsin. 2020s. Native leaders like Robert Van Zyl, Sokayagon Chippewa, and Matea Twin, Ho Chunk, advocate for tribal rights and sustainability. Alabama. 21st century. Shift to Republican dominance in statewide elections.